border and making their way to New York City. Asylum seekers all the way from China.
Many of them are finding their way into long-established communities and living on family and friends for how long?
Here's Fox 5 Steph
California with the latest
latest
Griff, what are you seeing down
My name is Connie Chung-Jo. I'm the CEO of Asian Americans Advancing Justice Southern California, or AJ SoCal. We are the nation's largest civil rights and legal service organization for Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders. I think sometimes as Americans, we associate immigration as an experience for the Latinx community. But it's important to keep in mind that Asian Pacific Islanders are the fastest growing immigrant group in this country. And in several decades, AAPI immigrants will be the largest immigrant population in the US. More immigrants will be coming from Asian countries than anywhere else in the world.
My name is Paul Estuar, and I am the Impact Litigation Director at Asian Americans Advancing Justice Southern California, or AJ SoCal. Recently, for migrants crossing the border, there was such a large influx, particularly from Asia and other countries, that because DHS or Border Patrol could not quickly process people, migrants were being held in these open-air detention sites. And these camps had no access to food or water. It was open air, and so migrants often had to stay there for longer than 24 hours. And we're talking about the desert. In the wintertime, it's brutally cold. In the summer, it is excruciatingly hot. And to keep migrants in basically like holding pens in a way where they're not free to go is a violation of their rights. Pure and simple.
All right, well, my name is Sam Schultz. I am a former humanitarian aid logistician I worked in Southeast Asia most of my life, and have retired to the United States here about 8 years ago. I'm only really working with the aid on the border because there's nobody else doing it, really. I mean, I live here. It's happening right next door to where I live, so.
I mean, is this like, you're talking about like how there wasn't a ton of migrant activity. Is this like expected? Or
I haven't seen anybody here in weeks. Wow. It's the first time I've seen anybody here in at least 2 weeks. We're going to be here any amount of time I'd be over there giving the kids treats and stuff like that, but they're not. They're in the middle of processing. You can't get close. Which is good. Yeah.
That Asian migrants in particular are not being provided adequate language access in order for them to understand what is happening to them, where are they going, what are they supposed to do, if they have a complaint, how do they complain. The Border Patrol and the DHS have internal guidelines that aspire to provide language access, but those are guidelines and they're not always enforceable in court. But I think there is room for a challenge to insist if you're going to have language access guidelines, then you need to provide full language access to people. They need to understand what is happening to them in the language that they can understand.
For me, it's not okay to welcome you to the best, but we do what we can. And everything you see here is built by community, by RAS organizations who cares. So for humans, so we do whatever we can, okay?
Yes. Can you tell us a little bit about like the problems with like language and communication at the border? Because obviously the Arabic people here, there's Spanish people, but like there's all these different languages. So
yes.
Are there like difficulties that come up because of language?
Do you know what? There's for the Chinese folks, they have in their phones apps. So they just it's so funny because you can see that already. They just put the phone on me and the first thing they ask me, "Oh, we're safe here," and I say, "Yes, you are safe here." So I need you to do me a favor. Can you count how many men How many women and how many children?
Okay, can you, we have a kids, small children, and they have earrings. Don't want to cut it. Do you have anything to cut it?
Can you not just remove it?
No, difficult. So you want to cut it. Do you
But
have something?
can I see the earring? It's gold? This is gonna be hard to cut. Just do this. Yeah, you're right, it's hard. Also for her, is the same thing? Is for her the same thing? Can I see? Can I see?
Traveling through Mexico is hell. It's a hell on earth if you are traveling overland through Mexico as a migrant. You're extorted, you're robbed, raped, everything you can imagine, all the way along. Seen as a target by everybody you meet. People still do it, or did.
Did you come here with anyone or just yourself?
This is my son.
Your son?
Because I'm old. I have 63 years old. And he came here with just to care me and to help me. A lot of problems, the roads, the way we come, a lot of traveling, a lot of things, a lot of difficulties with the other countries. So we came here many different way, by plane, by car, by bus, walking. I came to London.
London?
Then to Colombia, then to Panama, then to Nicaragua, then to Honduras, after that to Guatemala, then I went to Mexico. So many people spent maybe 80 days, 90 days, maybe over 100 days. That's very difficult, it's very hard. So. And this is, this is a safe country. This is a safe country. Everyone has problem. Maybe, he will go to Allah to guide them to the safe countries. So we know, maybe Allah will help us, and these new countries will help us, inshallah. So we can tell them about our thanks and our feelings to belong to them. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I'm gonna say for the first time, I think the media has really helped last year. Because there were people here, people 7 days inside there. I can show you photos, I can show you articles. There's a lot of reports you can find about it. But many of the injustices are here. Do you see this gentleman over here? He's really rude.
Amateur news hour or what?
He also was like saying to the other Border Patrol guy, like, do you want to be a YouTube star? Like, I'm going to be a star or something like that.
So this is like a mobile intake. So now we have the capability of not having to bring them all the way back into our processing centers and start from scratch. We can get started out here with the phone, like take a picture, scan the document, place family units together. So it kind of just helps mitigate the cluster, the bog down inside.
They're like checking their clothes.
Yeah. Like we kind of just make sure nothing's on them, and they go, they'll get checked a couple more times because people try to sneak things in. But
how often does that happen? Like how often do we
more than you think? Yeah, unfortunately. But most of the weapons and everything we see is through vehicles, like smuggling loads, like that kind of stuff. These people just want to be in the United States, you know what I mean?
So, yeah, are these people here coming seeking asylum legitimate? Of course they are. I can't tell you how many Chinese people I've met here who are just weep for joy that they have made it to the United States where they can practice their religion freely without any problems. The reason that this is happening at this point in the way that it is, because the oligarchs and plutocrats that control this society and control our government and own the government, basically, own our policy making, they want this to happen. And the reason that they want it to happen is because they need a new underclass that is willing to work for way cheaper wages. This is an underclass that I'm seeing here in Jacumba, seeing what is going to be an underclass for white-collar worker type people. The Asians I'm seeing come through here are not going to be working in a restaurant. These are engineers, these are people who are trained, IT people, and they'll work as gig workers, they'll work as this, they'll work as that. It'll be kind of gray area, on the book, off the book. You understand, not real, probably not 100% legit, but not 100% not legit either, if you see what I'm saying. They're willing to work harder for less money than Americans are in order to make money. And unfortunately, this won't get out to the asylum people, the people who are here seeking asylum, is what they're really coming here to do is become a new slave class in the United States.
You know, in a perfect world, the government would be protective of rights, but as we've seen with recent events, I think the interpretation of those rights is sometimes subject to the political whims of society.
Today our cities are flooded with illegal aliens. Americans are being squeezed out of the labor force and their jobs are taken.
You know, migrants tend to be an easy scapegoat in times of trouble and difficulty. So we find that their rights sort of rise and fall with those political tides.
In my mind, AJ SoCal needs to be able to elevate the issue of immigrants, but to do so in a way that's inclusive of other communities, whether they're communities of color or other communities in general, to elevate the issue beyond seeing it as a niche issue for one specialized community, but really being core to us as America.